Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from wherever you are joining us in the world. Welcome back to the Science of Getting Rich. I am Tommy Collier, your host, and I hope that you are refreshed and just ready for more. How about you, Bob? Are you ready for more?
Bob is ready.
Okay.
I am
How are
rockin'
you?
ready.
Excellent. Me too. Well, Bob, I was thinking, I just think there was so much good stuff yesterday. I am sure that people have some questions this morning. Do you want to do some Q&A to start?
That's a good idea. That's a good
Okay.
idea. Yeah.
All right.
If you got
Well, I have a
questions, let's
burning,
handle a
I
couple of them.
do. Okay, I have a burning question here from Lori Pandy. And she says, as I navigate unexpected changes in momentum toward my goal, can I adapt to the environment if it directly affects achieving my goal?
Well, it's your opinion that's going to directly affect achieve your goal. Why don't you change your attitude? Lori, I know you. I know you very well. And this goal of yours has been around for quite a while, and it's been through the thick and thin. And I do know this. What Andrew Carnegie told Napoleon Hill was accurate. Now let me show you. Go over here for a moment. He said, we'll throw this up, Scott. Here's our drawing. Now here's our conscious mind. He said, any idea that's held in the mind, that's emphasized, that's either feared or revered, will begin at once to close itself in the most convenient and appropriate form available. Any idea that's held in the mind, that's emphasized, that you continually think about, there's power flowing in, and that's where your thoughts are going. Any idea that's held in the mind, that's emphasized, that's either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient and appropriate form available. Now that is a law. That is an absolute law. And I don't think this situation that's going on in the world is going to change that law. The law is God's modus operandi. That's how things happen. Lori, hold the image. That's what I'm doing with my goal, and that's what I recommend you do with yours. You're going to make it. I know you are. You got another one there, Tommy?
All right. Yep. Larry would like to know, he says, please describe the process for determining which paradigms to tackle first on the journey to better.
Well, that's a good question. Determine which paradigm to tackle first. Well, first of all, let's understand that the paradigm is a multitude of habits. It's not one, it's not two, it's a multitude of habits. And what you want to do, it's the habits, they're behavioral patterns that you do automatically. A habit is an idea that expresses itself automatically without any conscious thought. So there's things that you're doing automatically without any conscious thought that's contributing to the results you're getting. Now ask yourself, what am I doing that's not serving me? And you'll probably see a few things you're doing that aren't serving you, that are not moving you towards your goal. Pick the ones that you think will really make a difference. Now, whatever habit you decide to change, you change it by coming up with an action, a behavioral pattern that is the polar opposite to the action you think is slowing you down. Like I've used a couple of examples, or the same example a couple of times. Let's suppose you sleep in. Almost all the winners I know are up and at it early. Phil Goldfine, who you're going to hear from tomorrow morning. Today, this afternoon.
After lunch.
I get it mixed up. Yeah, Sandy's going to interview Phil Goldfine. This guy is busy. He's up at 4 o'clock in the morning. He's in the pool before 5. Almost all of them get up early. So let's suppose a person's sleeping in. They have to change the pattern they're going to get up early and they're going to get up and get going. So you would, I'm so happy and grateful now that when I wake up, I get up and away you go. And you change that one. And you might work on 2 at a time, but don't try to change more than 2 habits at a time. It'll be overwhelming and you'll give up and you won't do any. Okay? That's where you're at. What else you got there, Tommy?
Adrian wants to know, what does hold it in your mind mean?
What's it mean? Concentration.
Yeah.
I'm going to go into that this morning. It's utilizing your higher faculties. It's utilizing the faculties that separate you from the pets, from the squirrels and the deer and the bears. Yeah. It's focus. Hold an idea in your mind, concentrate. And it's something most people are not very good at. They've never developed their ability to concentrate. If the average person would hold an idea in their mind for maybe 3 seconds, that'd be a long time. It's just like there's a stream of stuff going right through their conscious mind all the time. You want to stop it and focus. Okay?
All right, Joanne has a cool question. She says, I find it difficult to visualize myself with 1 million in my bank account, but I can visualize my business with the amount of clients required to produce 1 million. Does it matter whether you focus on the money or the clients?
No, doesn't matter. I'll tell you what to do, though. I'd focus if it's the clients, if that's an easy way to do it that way. Another way, take your bank book or your bank statement and doctor it up. Rewrite it. Duplicate a bank statement and put in it what you want. And look at that frequently until you get to the point where that's where when you think of your bank statement, that's where your head goes. Here's a point that you want to remember. Let's go over here for a minute. The trick is to get the idea in here, because this is where it's being expressed. The subconscious mind will accept anything you give to it. So here you doctor up your bank statement. And if you're looking at that often enough, that's going to start to get fixed in here. The subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined. This part can. This is where your reasoning factor is. That's your thinking. But the subconscious mind cannot. Whatever you give to it, it accepts it as real. Doctor up that statement, and how am I doing here? Doctor up the statement and turn it over. Get emotionally involved in it. Just look at it frequently. Through repetition, you'll get that in your mind. I think there's a lot of people gaining just from some of these questions. They're damn good questions. What do you got there, Tom?
Yeah. This one's topical. How can we take action towards our goal with what's going on in the world at the moment? I'm working on myself and studying. However, we need to take action. So how can this be done, especially if my goal cannot be done online?
Keep thinking about it. Don't think about why it can't, only see it happening. Now, I know that may, you'll say that's easier to say than do, but you can do it. And just think of how you can. Don't think of why you can't. Listen, I don't spend any time studying what the negative that's going on outside. I know it's there. I'm not denying it. I'm not kidding myself. I know it's there. I just don't spend any time thinking about it. I spend time thinking about good things that I want, about healthy things that I want. See, a lot of people say, at your age, Bob, you've got to be careful. I don't give a damn about that. Why would I care about that? Why would I think at my age I got to be careful? Listen, I don't think age has got anything to do with this. I think your mental activity has something to do with it. Focus on what you want and just see yourself with it and keep writing all the ideas down that come to you. You will come up with a way and you'll make it happen. Don't spend any time thinking of why it can't. Only think of how it can. There's another one there, Tom.
Okay, this one's fun, maybe. Okay, when Waddles talks about imprinting your thoughts on formless substance, does that really mean that one can potentially create new organic matter from this substance? For example, does he believe one could recreate a limb if it's missing?
I think he does mean that. Um, I think that, like, I have people ask me that in seminar, and I think that's going way out outside the box. It's because we're not accepting the simplicity of it. Let me tell you something here. Look at this. It's important you understand this. This part of you here, that is formless substance. You see, you're thinking here, there's a power flowing in. It's pure and adulterated spirit. Now you're going to have to think here. This is pure unadulterated spirit. Now hold on a minute. Now that's actually the way it is. You go to spirit, you build the idea. You turn the idea back over to spirit, and through the reciprocal law of spirit gives it back to you in physical form, in results. You see, your subconscious mind is formless substance. That's universal intelligence. And when you plant the idea upon your subconscious mind, you're planting it upon universal intelligence. You see, that's why I took this bottom part of the circle out, because when it's in here, we tend to confine it to ourselves. We don't see ourselves as the bigger picture, you know. Listen, you know, Sandy and I were talking earlier. Sandy's going to be coming on a little later and teaching you a lesson in visualization. It's a classic, believe me. She's very good at it too. But we were talking about it. We were saying that she was talking about a friend of hers that's which she was talking to last night, and how overwhelming it was. Oh, I know it. She had told her friends before to study 4, 14, and 7, those 3 chapters over and over and over again. And so she had been reading them over and over and over again a number of times prior to this happening. I think this is the way it went. And she was so glad that she had, because otherwise this is just too much information all at once. Well, if you're thinking it's too much information all at once, don't let it bother you. Just let it go. Let it go. That's okay. Accept what you can. But make up your mind you're going to keep studying. I'll tell you this. It may be too much for you to grasp. But I'm going to tell you, you'd like to believe it all because it's so phenomenal. And it's exactly the way it is. And if you keep going, you will believe it all and it will be phenomenal. I love my life. I was talking to Sandy here just earlier this morning, and we were talking about it, and I was saying, you know, life is so good. It really is good. Now, there's a lot of people today, they're talking about life is so bad. Life is good. Increasing life. That's what this is all about. So, when you talk about impressing your thoughts upon formless substance, that's the same as letting yourself get very emotionally involved with the idea, because your emotional mind is the universal side of you. What's another one, Tommy? These questions are very, very good, by the way.
Aren't they good?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, if you've had a fair amount of success in your life and feel you are smack dab in the middle of a comfort zone, how do you break out of it if you are cloudy on what you really want to do next?
Clear up the clouds. Listen to Johnny, right? Johnny, what's his name? I can see clearly.
Nash.
Johnny Nash. I can see clearly now. The clouds are gone. The rain is gone. I see all obstacles in my way. Listen, if that's your situation, you don't have a goal. You don't have a goal. Yeah, play that for a minute.
I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way.
So you see the obstacles, you can get rid of them.
Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a
bright, sunshiny day. Thanks, Tommy. Listen, that's the way it is. Focus on the good. What's another question here?
Okay, let's see. Where does my mood originate?
Where does your mood originate? In your subjective mind. It originates in your consciousness, actually. You've got a negative idea that you're letting yourself get emotionally involved. You are originating a negative idea, or you're accepting it uncritically from outside. Could be from a paper, a television ad, something somebody else says, but it's a negative concept that's coming to your consciousness, and you turn over to your subconscious, and that puts you into the negative vibration. See, your subconscious mind's in every molecule of your body. And when you impress that idea upon your subconscious mind, at that moment, your whole body moves into that vibration. That's called a mood. A mood is conscious awareness of vibration, a feeling. Next
Okay,
one,
Laura
Tom.
from Italy said, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Ready? Okay, Laura from Italy. What if I want so many things that I don't know where to start from? How do I get a big idea that that embraces all the things I desire?
Sit down, relax, write them all down. Take your pen and write them all down. And then say, now, if I could have any one of these, which one would really wind me up the most? Put a star on that one. That's the one you go after. Forget about all the rest, set them aside, and focus on that one. All those things you set aside will probably fall into line as you move towards the one you want. You've got to pick one you want. You've got to have clarity in your mind. You've got to have order in your mind. You cannot have a whole pile of unrelated ideas in your mind. That's called chaos. But understand this, out of chaos comes order. And it'll be a higher degree of order than that which existed prior to the chaos. Nice thing to know. We'll take two more, then we're going to get into the lesson.
Okay, this is a popular question. Can you give us an example of what our morning routine should look like for studying, and what does your morning routine look like?
Well, I've mentioned my morning routine a couple of times. Here, just a minute. I have behind me where I started this morning. I wrote out 10 things I'm grateful for, and then I wrote out my statement. I'm so happy and grateful now that I realize my spiritual DNA is perfect, and that perfection is within me. I begin each day looking for areas of my life when I want to see that perfection expressed habitually. And I do that, I write that with my left hand. And I write it with my left hand, I mentioned yesterday, because that makes me aware how difficult it is and how uncomfortable it feels when I'm forming a new habit. I am right-handed. I can write fairly well with my right hand. My left hand, I have difficulty. That is the 352nd day I've done that. Now hold on a minute. I text Sandy and my brother when I've done it. And here we are. I did that at 5:59 this morning when I finished it. And I texted her that I had completed the exercise. That's where I start. I start by writing down the 10 things I'm grateful for. And then I get involved in the left-handed writing. Then I took this book and I started to read it for a few minutes. And then I took this and I read it for a few minutes. And then I'm ready for the lesson. So I'm looking at what I'm doing today and where I'm going today. And I know I'm talking about increasing life today, so I read the lesson over. And I went over the lesson that's being taught in it. I've reviewed that. I started out here about 5:30. And that's my routine in the morning, every morning. Then I go to my calendar and I see what Gina has on my calendar. Gina has been working with me for, I think, 34 years this year. And she keeps me organized. She looks after my calendar. If somebody wants me to do something, they've got to get to Gina, and she'll put it on the calendar if she thinks I want it on the calendar. So that's how my morning starts, and that's how I get going. And I would suggest you might start the same way. Start early. Start early. I never read about anyone who really accomplished something in life, and I haven't read any for a while, but I love reading biographies. And if you want to read a good biography, get Schweitzer, Albert Schweitzer. Incredible man. But at any rate, that was one that just come to my mind as I said that. All the ones I've read about start early in the morning. Early in the morning. That's why doctors operate early in the morning. Their mind is clear, their hand is steady, the patient's receptive. They start very early. That's what I'd recommend you do. And start by studying. Get your day off to the right by studying. Then you've made time for it. If you're going to do it first. Because study is the only way to develop a greater awareness and greater understanding. And these lessons are excellent material to study. They really are. I'll take one more time and then we're into the lesson.
Okay, I love this question. If the formless substance thinks and desires to increase itself, would you say that it is alive?
Well, of course it's alive. It's spirit. Spirit's very much alive. Spirit's neither created nor destroyed. Spirit's always for expansion and fuller expression. It's always bigger, 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 bigger. And but Spirit works through you. That's why we're talking about increasing life. Spirit works to and through you. That's why God's very happy when we start moving in the right direction. I think it's written that there's great rejoicing in heaven when one sinner is saved. Now, when I was a kid, I was told if I said this, it was a sin. And then I was told if I do that, it's a sin. Well, I was always a pretty curious guy, so I said it. I've heard the price of sin was death. I thought that was pretty severe, but I didn't die. And then I thought, if I do that, that's a sin. And the price of sin is death. I tried it, and I didn't die. So I thought, well, that's a crock, and then I went on with my life. See, the problem was I didn't understand what I was hearing or seeing. Death is not where you stop breathing. Death is when you stop growing. The price of sin is death. That's when you're going in the wrong direction. There's a basic law of life that says create or disintegrate. You're either going ahead or you're going back. Absolutely nothing stays where it is. That's just the way it is. Now, if we're going to increase life, we've got to work in harmony with the law. And the law works to and through us. And that's where we're going here with this lesson. We've been given the mental faculties to do this with. We want to start doing it. Okay?